We good to go? I'll just say that the beginning of a new term is a period of transition, which is a little bittersweet for me because we have a lot to celebrate over the last 4 years, and I've got two people I really want to thank for that. It's also a period of optimism, and I've got some new folks who help take the lead, and an opportunity to introduce them. And that's General Counsel, and that's Chief of Staff. I'll start with our General Counsel. Nora Danahy stepped into the breach about a year and a half ago. She said she was going to be here for a limited period of time, and she stayed a lot longer because I asked her to, and I really needed her. She stepped in, Nora Danahy, in the midst of COVID and executive orders and emergency declarations and FOIA, and stepped up every day and was my most trusted person. And let me tell you what that means. For me, it's not just what she did as an attorney and our general counsel, but my job really depends upon earning your trust every day and giving you confidence in the integrity of your government and our opportunity to serve you. And if you want to send a signal about trust and integrity, there's nobody I'd rather have standing next to me than Nora Danahy. And she's not here because she says, I think her job is to be in the background. And I'm going to tell you, she was not in the background for me. And like a lot of good leaders, she also thought about the transition. And so early on, we thought and knew that Natalie Braswell was the person to take over as general counsel. And Natalie's a triple threat, all the UConn degrees. She was at the controller's office, and she was a deep, and then acting as controller, where she stepped into the breach again when Kevin had to step aside for health reasons as controller. And she's going to be not just a great general counsel and legal counsel to me, but again, like Nora, a trusted advisor. And I'd like to think we're not going to miss a beat, and I'd like to think that Nora's not going to be too far away. The second transition from the heart I want to talk about is Chief of Staff. Paul Mounds took over from Ryan about a week before COVID hit, and he hasn't stopped since. What he meant in terms of bringing all of you together, all the different pieces of state government together, working as one, working with the hospitals, working with the legislators. He knows this building knows him. I couldn't have done it without him. And it's a 24/7 job. I mean, at some point I'd say, see you, Paul. I'm going to go walk around Elizabeth Park, have a glass of wine, and go watch the Yankees. And he had another 30 calls he had to make. And he's earned the right to recharge his batteries. And he's not going far. And it's not just a trusted advisor, but a great friend. And again, like a good leader, he's always thinking about what comes next when he moves on. And that was unanimous, and that was early on, and that was Johnny Doc. I think a lot of you know Johnny Doc. He's been in my right hand since the first campaign. He's been our Deputy Chief of Staff. He has worked very closely with Paul. He's gotten to know this building very well. The building has gotten to know him. He's been my top policy person. If you believe that a policy is about ideas and people, that's Johnny Doc. And I never say you're not going to miss a beat, because every chief of staff and every general counsel is different. But I have a high degree of confidence that Johnny's going to be able to pick up where Paul left off. And like I said about Nora, Paul's not going far. We're not going to let him go far. So it's a little bittersweet for me, but that's what a transition is all about. And I'm incredibly optimistic about how far we've come in the last 4 years, and we're just getting started. I think with that, let me get Paul Mounds up here. He's still our Chief of Staff, at least through the inauguration. Paul?
Well, thank you. I'll start by saying this to the governor. Governor, you gave a kid from East Hartford the ability to serve his state. You trusted me, you relied on me, but you wouldn't believe how much I learned from you because of your optimism, and your passion, and your purpose. It was very easy to be your Chief of Staff because of you always put the people of Connecticut first. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve as your Chief of Staff during probably one of the most pinnacle moments in our state's history. So thank you. To Natalie and Johnny, I'll start with Natalie. I still remember the Friday in which myself and Nora was tasked by the governor to help figure out how we were going to replace someone who has served this state with so much grace in Kevin Limbo. And we both looked at each other and said, would Natalie be interested in doing it? You are one of the most consummate state employees that the state's ever seen. You know this state and our agencies like no other. You know the external world like no other. You're going to follow in the great path of Nora Danahy, an individual who I admired even before she even knew who I was. And I know that you're going to serve this governor just like you have served Kevin and served in any role that you've been in. So to my friend, thank you and congratulations. And to Johnny, who I love to call him my Yale brother, who occasionally wears cowboy boots. Johnny and I have developed such a bond that it's even hard to explain. He's one of the smartest individuals I've ever been around. He's one of the most, I would say, curious individuals I've ever been around. And he is someone who takes a little from everyone and molds it to his own style. It is a seamless transition from what I've done over the past 3 years as Chief of Staff and 4 years in this administration to ensure that Jonathan Dock is going to be carrying the mantle and supporting this governor and supporting this administration going forward. So I know I'm going to have to move a lot of football helmets out of my office, but I'll make sure to keep the Yale one behind for you and know that you will serve this administration even greater than I ever could. So, thanks, Johnny. And to my team and everyone in the administration, as you guys know, I don't like talking about myself. I absolutely hate it. I love talking about when we accomplish things together. It's with the team. When things go wrong, I'm the first one to take the blame and figure out how we can fix it. But the people of Connecticut has entrusted themselves to all of you to ensure that this governor and this team can serve for another 4 years and continuously move this state forward like it's never been seen before. We have got our mojo back in this state. And a lot of people don't know the names of the various people who serve. But I want everyone to know, as someone who is a son of a state employee, that state employees work very hard. They put their heart on the line to serve. And they do it without any necessary need for praise They do it because they believe in service. So I want to say to my team and all the commissioners and everyone that I've been able to touch and work with, thank you. And then lastly, I just want to say to my family, my dad and my mom, who are both back there, when I was a student at Trinity College, my dad told me that I would never, he said, you can't spend your whole summer. Which one of you guys are? Come on. You're taking my moment away from me. Come on. No, I'm kidding. My parents told me that I couldn't spend the whole summer just practicing for football. And my dad said, you're interested in government, you need to send an email to your state representative, who at the time was Melody Curry, who answered that email from a 19-year-old and gave me an opportunity to serve as an intern. I've been a part of this building since I was 19. I met so many people, I learned from so many. But the one thing that I can always say is that the person that I am is because of the parents that raised me. And I want to thank my parents for instilling in me the importance of service, benevolence, and instilling in me that it's important to not just think of yourself, but think of the place where you're from. So with that, I would just say this. This team's got a lot to do. We're not done yet. I might be a constituent on the outside, but I'm going to be still a believer in everything that this team has done. And this team is not because of one person. Because there truly is no I in team. And as everyone knows here, I always say, it's about the team, it's about the team, it's about the team. So with that, thank you.
New kids have to write stuff down. Very briefly, it's been my privilege and my joy in life to work under an absolutely extraordinary series of bosses, most recently here in Connecticut under Governor Lamont and our Chief of Staff, Paul Mounts. Both of these people have given so much, along with our cabinet officers and fellow state employees and local employees and our partners in the private sector and civil society, to get Connecticut through an extraordinarily dark time. When the governor took office 4 years ago, he promised a big table and an open door. And that approach has served the people of Connecticut extremely well over the last 4 years. My next office is a lot smaller than his, and than my current one. But I promise to bring that same spirit of collaboration to work every day. President Biden likes to remind us that it's never a good bet to bet against America. In the past 4 years, Governor Lamont and his team have proved it's never a good bet to bet against Connecticut either. And in the next 4 years, we're going to double down on that and continue delivering fiscal stability and more growth and opportunity for all. I believe in Connecticut. I believe in Governor Lamont's vision for Connecticut. And I believe in government's ability to make a meaningful difference in people's lives. I am so, so grateful for the opportunity I've had to work under these gentlemen and for the opportunity to be part of this team going forward. With that, I'd like to introduce our new GC, Natalie.
So this I will not miss, press conferences. Much like Nora Danahy, I will be glad to be back in the background. But I'm grateful for this opportunity to continue to serve the people of Connecticut. My year as comptroller has been a whirlwind, both exhilarating and oftentimes exhausting, but it's only strengthened my commitment to our state and my sincere belief that better days are ahead. Governor Lamont and his administration have been great partners during my tenure as we work to lower healthcare costs, support workers, address inequalities across the state, including in-state government. I'm looking forward to continuing these efforts and returning to my role as an attorney as he begins his second term. I was honored when he asked me to serve as interim comptroller, and I'm honored now as he asked me to serve as his general counsel. And I thank Paul Mounts, who he said, who's not just a colleague of mine, but a really good friend, and he will be missed. by all, but I think one thing that he has done is left a legacy here in Connecticut, and a legacy that I think Johnny Doc is going to be more than capable of continuing. Thank you.
We'll take on-topic questions, break for a few, and then do off-topic.
These people for a while. How do you make this transition with your new people going forward, and will things change, do you think, because of the difference in people, or these are people who've already been part of your administration to some degree?
Look, we've been thinking about this for a while, Sue, so it's not, it's going to be a smooth transition. But look, different people bring different styles to the job, and we grow into that. I think, Johnny, with the policy, will be leading loud and clear in terms of what we're trying to do there, and then we get that implemented in a building like this. And then Natalie brings the breadth of experience across state government, so I think that's a unique perspective she'll have in the General Counsel's office.
What other personnel changes are in the office? As you just mentioned, we've got some.
Yeah, well, Paul, it's been 4 years. A lot of folks have been with us for quite a while, and we made a deal that it needed folks, at least through the election, and people have honored that, and many of them, been working 24/7, like I said, and looking to make a change. And so we'll be making other announcements over the next few days and in the next few weeks. We've been thinking about this. It's going to be a smooth transition.
How about David Lehman? We've heard David Lehman might be leaving. What can you say about that?
I can say today is about our new chief of staff and our new general counsel. More on some of the other positions later. What's so funny?
Mr. Hardman is funny. See,
Not uncommon, right? Administration, there are changes, and Paul's been here for you and with Malloy, and it's a high stressful situation, isn't it? Is it a burnout or no?
No, here's the thing. When you're passionate about anything, you're going to put all you have into it. That's just the way it is. So the way people know me very well. When I make myself passionate about something, I'm going to work my ass off at it until I can't work anymore. I told the governor this when he asked me to be chief of staff. I said, I'm going to ride this out till the wheels fall off, as the kids would say. That's for my team. They know that joke. But I would say this. I knew what I was signing up for, but as I said before, I never thought that I would ever be considered for a role like this. The governor and the first lady, when they met with me on that February 26th, and basically were asking me to take over this role, I told them that I'm ready, and I'm going to serve throughout the whole rest of the administration. And then when we get done, we'll have a conversation, we'll talk, and we did. But here's the one thing that I know. I know I'm leaving this in good hands. Why? Because this is an amazing governor. This is the best governor in the nation. And I would say that to anyone. And then I know that with Johnny Doc was by my side for the past 4 years, I know there's going to be continuity, but I know when you go into a second term, there's another gear that needs to be taken up on it. And hey, everyone has modifications and changes in their lives, and this is time. But I'm leaving here with a smile on my face, but I also know I left it all on the field. So it's good. Oh, first and foremost, the next thing that's next is myself and David Benedict fighting for UConn to play in a bowl game. That's first. No, truthfully, here's the thing. You can't actively start looking for opportunities while you're doing the role. We just got off of not only running an administration, but also a campaign, a successful campaign, may I say. And I wanted to make sure my focus was on that, making sure that this governor and this administration and this team was going to be able to serve for another 4 years. I think now that this announcement is happening, I can be able to have conversations with people. But here's the one thing, as the governor said, I'm not going to go far. Where there's places to serve, I'm ready to serve.
It's under serious consideration. Hey, thanks, everybody. Nice to see you.